This might surprise a lot of people, but this is where I think Sephiroth goes. I've never played against a Sephiroth where I've been scared. I gotta play Tweak, obviously, but I feel like parrying against this character is gonna be super good, and he has such a hard time against characters that get in on him. I don't think Nair is like a broken, like, get off me option. He can get suffocated pretty well, or projectile camped pretty hard, you know? His counter, I think, is really good at helping with these things. And his range is actually egregious. And once he goes Wingo mode, then he can get pretty stupid. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and actually put him in the not quite busted, but still pretty good. And to follow up with that, I do think he at least has the potential to be where I put this character before, Wii Fit Trainer. The combos on this character is ridiculous. The offstage is annoying. Good Wii Fits actually thoroughly impressed me with how, you know. Alright, next, I think it's the trash boy himself. Capitan Falcon. He sucks, dude. I know he's not mid and he's not quite busted, but he sucks. Combos do him really well, and his speed allows him to fight in a lot of matchups, but against characters that can just like out frame data him and out combo him, he's kind of like, you know how I said like Junior's like the mid he's like the upper mid. Like, he just does everything decently well, and that's why he ends up here. He's got a little of everything and almost in the same exact shoes, but not quite as bad. Falco, who his strongest suit is being a caveman and mashing up tilt. However, due to his frame data, it makes it really hard to punish him. So he gets to Did you know that the average Mars sub is actually considered to be a genius? Could be you. Could be you. He gets away with a lot of stupid stuff just due to his frame data, you know, not really based on the other player. But yeah, his combos do get a little ridiculous, and they work on a lot of characters. His offstage game is pretty good, and his recovery is passable. Not really. His recovery is really bad. That's why he's not broken. Next, methinks Bowser. Again, you know, that opinion really hasn't changed all that much. He gets to play neutral more than a lot of characters, and his neutral is actually not that bad. He does a lot of damage per interaction. However, he's a big boy with... I mean, I don't even think his recovery is all that bad, but it's still exploitable for most characters who can like read where he's gonna go. So next, you're gonna be a couple of changes that I feel are real. Maybe it's time that is tricked me up a little bit, but Link, I think he's better than he should be. He's very good. He can box. He got Nair. He can box and he can zone out really well. On top of it, it's kind of hard to contest recovery, and you could just end up on the wrong side of it and die. Kind of weird, kind of funky, but I don't think he's as good as I put him before. His projectiles actually do a lot of damage, and it's kind of hard to get in. And they decided no more tether grab for him. For some reason, they thought that was a good idea. Next, I think right next to the Badman is a double Badman Ken. His kill ability and, you know, ability to open people up are super good. But his really committal projectile doesn't help with the fact that he can get zoned really hard. Like, if he can't get in, it's really bad. Once he's off stage, it sucks. But once he's in, it hurts, man. It's hard to win neutral against him. His frame data is pretty funky. He's pretty broken is what I'm trying to say. And his ledge trapping is something to think about. More than you should. I put these guys roughly in the same spot as last time. The pits, of course. The pits, I think just normal pits better. Just because of consistency of side B, but yeah, you guys remember what I said about Falcon, what I said about Junior? They're basically the next step up of that. They're just a little higher up where they do basically everything but a little better than Falcon, which is a very good trait to have. As you can see, doing a little bit of everything stops you from being absolute trash, and doing it a little better stops you from being kind of trash, and doing it a little better puts you just a little bit higher. I think the gap between a lot of these characters are not that big. Alright, next, in my opinion has changed, don't you worry. Luigi. Character's got a pretty good nooch, dude. There's a lot to think about when you're playing against him. I know it's mostly grab, but there's other options and stuff too that do combo, and it makes you really scared when you're playing him. Some characters just straight up don't have the ability to edgeguard this dude, believe it or not, despite how linear his recovery can be. Pretty hard to capitalize on. His disadvantage isn't awful. I mean, Cyclone helps, but it also, if it gets red, you get big comboed. Or big dead. He makes his openings count, and that's what makes him really scary. And if he can kill you off of a grab and make you change your whole playstyle, it's really, really good for your character. Next up, methinks is Ness. He's a pretty extreme character. You know, his neutral's pretty hard to fight. You know, it's got the disjoints and stuff too. His recovery is really easy to fight. His kill ability is really annoying. Juggling him is really hard. You know, you can only like pick apart a few things that your character specializes in to beat Ness. You know, you kind of just have to play the player kind of deal, because Ness has a lot of options. I wish I could explain it better, but you're good. Next, I think, is Sheik. I have never thought Sheik was that bad, and then they kept buffing her, and now Void plays her, so I can't wait for Offline to come back. I've said it before, but you cannot have that frame data and be unviable. It is literally impossible. I don't care if your character's kind of light, but you have that frame data and that really good projectiles, really good recovery. You just don't have a bad character there. Next, I think, is the last person for this list, Cloud. Another character with a lot of extreme like things. He's got a very good neutral, very good advantage state, very good kill ability, kind of meh combos, but he makes up for it with his neutral. But he can get edge guarded really hard, and he can kind of get suffocated. It's not like he has, I don't know, like he can't really alleviate pressure except with B, which is really committal. So he can get baited kind of easily. I also just noticed that I forgot Min Min. I talked about her earlier, but right over my head. Last time I put her at like the middle of mid tier, a little below Bowser Jr. But like I said, after seeing her offline a bit, I think I'd put her right here. Honestly, right below Sheik. I mean, I've talked about this character so much, man. She's gimpable. She doesn't really have very good boxing options. She's just a super zoner who can deal with zoning. So people don't, either they just don't commit to projectile camping well, or they're not good at scrapping. I don't know. I want to see this character in America. I want to see how the Americans play against her, because I've only seen Japan, who are like inherently pretty slow paced. So